Thank you. Konjam tamunterium. Thank you. Yeneke idli romba pedikum. I am a storyteller, and I knew that I was a storyteller from the moment that my Facebook name changed from Craig Jenkins to Craig Jenkins Storyteller. Officially, you know, if something is on Facebook, it is the truth, correct? Yes. I started my storytelling journey in 2004 when I was a student at the University of Kent in Canterbury. I was studying drama, theatre and film, and if I'm honest, I was a little bit bored. Everything we were doing was Western and European theatre. So we did Shakespeare, Brecht, Chekhov, Chaucer, who are fantastic, but I was missing some masala, I think. Yeah, some spice. As if a gift from the gods, I looked on my program list for my course and I saw words that changed my life forever. A course entitled Oral Traditions of India. I marched to my tutor and demanded that I needed to change to take this course. He asked me why. I simply said, masala. I took this module under the fantastic teachings of an internationally renowned storyteller, Dr. Vayu Naidu, who taught us the oral tradition of sharing stories from one person to another. She really stressed to us the importance of knowing, understanding, feeling and experiencing the stories that you tell. She never told us once to memorize the stories word for word. Instead, she said you learn the story and you tell it depending on where you are, who you are with, and how you are feeling. You share the story with the audience and it will change every single time you tell it. It's a lesson I always remember. Now, I remember one of the first stories that Vayu ever told me was an old Indian epic about a prince who had lost a princess because a 10-headed demon had taken her from the forest, and a flying monkey came, and they built a bridge, and then there was a big fight, and then the demon died. As she was retelling this, I had never experienced this before in my life. I was listening to this simple, beautiful telling, and my jaw hit the ground. I was looking... So simple was her telling. She just stood, and with simple hand movements and facial expressions, she conveyed every single character. I think I was sitting there for 5-10 minutes after the story finished. Everybody had left, and I was still... Yeah, my heart was jumping up and down like a beautiful Bharatanatyam dancer, and my mind was sizzling like a fried vada in the pan, you know, some hot oil. And I said to Vayu afterwards, I said, please, Vayuji, what is the name of this story? She said one word which changed my storytelling career, Ramayana. I became Ramayana obsessed. I don't know if this is a medical condition, but I think I was suffering for it for a number of years. I would lock myself in the library. I would read as many copies of the Ramayana as I could. Valmiki, Tulsidas, Kamban. I would go on YouTube. I would watch the old serials from the 1980s, you know, the magical ones where they zoom down and zoom up. You know, I watched all of them. And I remember saying to Vayuji, I feel like I'm really taking this story in, but I'm really missing something. I really need to go and really see the place where the story came from. Because I can enjoy the story in my mind, but I really want to go and meet the people who are telling this story now today. I really need to go to India. She said, fine. I went and told my mum, Mum, I've decided, I finished my graduate school, I want to go to India. She said, okay, why do you want to go to India? I said, I must find Ramayana. She said, okay, fine. She said, who is this girl Ramayana? You need to go and find her in India. Can't you stay here? I said, Mum, please, I need to go. I need to find Ramayana. I need to find him, her, whatever. She said, okay, fine, then you can go to India. So Vayu organized for me to go to South India, and I went to an incredible Gurukulam in Kanchipuram. It's called the Katakutu Gurukulam, and it's a grassroots theatre school that train rural children in traditional Tamil street theatre. Katakutu or Terakutu, most people are probably familiar with. I ran some Ramayana workshops with them, but during this time I started to watch some of their 8-hour all-night plays that they perform. And the stories of the Mahabharata, which I'd never experienced before. As I sat there and watched these incredible costumes, listened to the fantastic music, the same thing happened. Bharatanatyam dancers, frying vadai. I knew that I'd found my next hook. So I Skyped at home with my mum. I said, Mum, I'm going to extend my stay in India. She said, did you find this girl Ramayana? I said, yeah, I found her, but now I need to find Mahabharata. She said, okay, fine, come back when you found these, okay? So being in Kanchipuram and really speaking to people about these stories really helped me to really understand not only the stories themselves, but their place within people's lives. The Ramayana and the Mahabharata are stories that are written, but they're also living and breathing texts and stories that people tell every single day. I would sit up until late in the evening with the children, and they would retell these stories of Draupadi, Krishna, Karna, Arjuna, and I would soak them up and just marvel at the intricacies and beauty of these stories. When I returned back to the UK, I work as an educationalist in community settings, outreach, schools. I started to tell these stories, quite tepidly at first, and then I became much more comfortable in sharing the stories in the way that I would tell them. And it was so surprising how many people doubted me at first and said, the children here won't understand these stories. They won't understand the names. It's too confusing for them. I said, listen, what makes these stories so special is the inherent human emotions and experiences that pass through them. In Ramayana, it's a beautiful story of love and loss. Anyone, anywhere can feel that. No matter where you're from, what your cultural or religious background, you've experienced love and you've experienced loss. I told this to children of all ages, from all cultural backgrounds, and every single one of them hung on every single word. And they journeyed with me. They journeyed with me and Rama as we travelled to Lanka, as we fought with Ravana, and the moment that he brings Sita home, and everyone in the village in the story lights a candle on her return, every single child lights one in their heart as well. Every child feels that. The Mahabharata is much more difficult to tell to very small children. The Ramayana is very linear, okay? This happens because this happens, because this happens, because this happens. If you try to tell the Mahabharata like that, it's this happens because this happened, but this also happened because before this happened, and this person was actually an avatar of this person, so this happened because of this person, because 1,000 years ago this happened and this happened because of that. But that's also only one version of the story, so it can be told a different way. But what the Mahabharata really allows me to do is work with much older children, because what exists within the Mahabharata, I think, which makes it so special, is there is no good and there is no evil. There's no good or no bad. There's no dark and there's no light. Not one character in that story is solely good, and not one character in that story is solely bad. Because in life, none of us are purely good and none of us are purely bad. What the Mahabharata allows us to do is to explore the dark, the light, and all of the shades of grey in the middle. It poses questions. Why did this happen? And why is this still happening now? I started to look at the stories as metaphors for contemporary life. So I'd look at Draupadi's story as a metaphor for violence against women. It's not only happening in India, it's all over the world. Karna as a story of children who are given away at birth, who have no sense of self-identity. Shurpanakha from the Ramayana, again as violence against women. And then I really hit on something that's really close to my heart, which is Abhimanyu, the Child Soldier project. Abhimanyu was 15 or 16 when he died in the war, and that contemporary relevance rings true to everybody. There are hundreds of thousands of children still today fighting in wars across the globe, as young as 7, 8 years old. The Mahabharata is thousands of years old, and it told us already. So what I did when I went back to the UK was I got some funding to run a theatre project with a group of 8 young people from a very, very difficult part of South London. They were from all over the world. None of them had ever heard the Mahabharata before. They'd never heard of Abhimanyu. But my intention was to use the story as a means for them to explore the issue of child soldiers and to share that with their local community. They were pitched as, this is an Indian storytelling project. So when they walked in and they saw me, they said, you don't look very Indian. You do a head gesture and your hand gesture, but you don't look very Indian. They sat down, they listened to my 25 retelling of Abhimanyu's story, 25-minute retelling, and the same thing happened to them. Their jaws dropped, and they were with me. Now, what I think was so special about this project with this particular group is that it allowed them a voice to not only go beyond conventions, but to break conventions. The young people that I worked with were predominantly young black women from South London who constantly walk with labels or social stereotypes that are enforced upon them. People expect them to create a particular type of theatre or to create a particular type of creative work. And what I really wanted to do was to give them something different, to give them a cultural aesthetic they'd never tasted before, to really shatter the perceptions of the local community of saying, actually, these girls can do this. They can share this story because it connects with them. One of the most startling things that happened during the Abhimanyu project is one of the young women who was involved lost a friend in a very, very, very violent attack in South London. He was 15 years old. She played Subhadra in the performance, Abhimanyu's mother. And I noticed after this happened, when she took to the stage and she said the words that she had written for Subhadra to say to Abhimanyu, they completely changed meaning. I remember one of the things she said was, if I knew this was the last time I would see you, I would ensure that I told you just how much I loved you. So the story in that instance became her story. And the stage became a space where she could express feelings she wouldn't have been able to express outside. Through that character, she could speak what she was really feeling inside. Another thing I wanted to do with them with the Abhimanyu project was really to create a sense of social and global responsibility as well. So as we toured the performance, we asked for donations. We didn't ticket the performances, and every single penny that we raised, we gave to War Child UK, who work with child victims of war across the globe. For these girls, it was really special to do that, to show them that actually the work they're doing is directly changing the lives of people, not only in the UK, but around the world as well. And I saw their faces when we went online and looked, this is what this money has bought for a child. Your money has sent another child to school. They light up on their faces. Oh, can we do something else? Can we do a bake sale? Can we do a dance performance? Can we do this? Let's try and change and help other people. One of the reasons why I think the stories work so well and why I will continue to do the work that I do is I think that fundamentally all of us share the same emotions and experiences. It doesn't matter where we're from. It doesn't matter who we are, but those fundamentals of love, loss, fear, anger, pain, we share with everybody. We all feel that, and that's why we can connect through these stories. I remember the last performance that we did for Abhimanyu was very, very, very special because my mum came. She doesn't usually come to these sort of things. She's really busy. At the end of the performance, she came over to me, and she took my hand, and she looked at me and she said, now I understand. I will continue to travel and to share stories in the way that I share them and to use the epics as contemporary social metaphors. It's kind of not my job anymore. I think it's my calling. I think it's why I'm here to do, really. What I would like to leave everybody with, everybody who's listening, is just something very, very, very simple. When you go home today, if you have thambis or thangachis or daughters or sons, I don't know how to say that in Tamil, please do one thing for me. Tell them a story. Because in this modern and contemporary age, we disregard storytelling, something that Party used to do a long time ago. It doesn't have relevance anymore. Is that, no one wants to do that. Let's go and see the new Singham Part 7 film, or let's go and see Garvalan, or something like that. But what we can do with storytelling, simple, old, traditional oral storytelling, is something you can't do with the film. And that's directly connect with the people you're speaking to. So please, when you go home, just share a story. Please not Singham's story or anything like that. Go home, sit down and just share a story with somebody. Because for me, that's the best way, I think, to connect with people and also to go beyond conventions as well. Thank you.